Hi guys!
Hi everybody!
So today we're down at Lowdhams again, partially so I can have some lunch, but actually more importantly, so we can have a look at this bad boy. So you're probably wondering what this is and why we've come to have a look at it.
It is the Hymer Grand Canyon S 700, and this one, fully loaded. Oof. So it's got a quite sizable price tag, but it's a very good one for us to take a good look around and a big poke around, as we always do with these things. So no apologies for the length of this video, because we like to show you everything.
And it's good to look around one which is fully loaded, because sometimes these, you kind of read the specs online and everything, you go through the configurator and you don't really get to feel what they're really like when you really load it up with stuff. And trust me, this one has got so much stuff in it.
Beautiful.
Now, I think this is a particularly interesting van. It's a few weeks before the show at the NEC in February 2025. And it's really interesting to have a look at this because two reasons. This is a 7 metre long version of the Grand Canyon S, which puts it directly, in my mind, in comparison to things like the Volkswagen Grand California 680.
Yep.
So that's a 6.8 metre Volkswagen Crafter, and obviously you can order that with four-wheel drive as well. So this has got four-wheel drive as an option. You don't have to have it with four-wheel drive, same as the Grand California. You don't have to order that with four-wheel drive, but you can. And thought it's quite useful to have a look at this in comparison to that same layout, so longitudinal rear bed inside and all that sort of stuff. So good to compare and contrast, look at the quality of it and everything else. This is considerably more expensive than the Grand California. So is it worth it is the question. But then secondly, Adria, as we mentioned on our recent NEC video, check it out up there, the preview video, Adria are releasing the Super Twin.
Yes.
And the Super Twin is based on the Mercedes Sprinter, one of these.
One of them.
It's four-wheel drive, just like that. And it's 6 metres long, so it's a transverse rear bed, but it's going to have all of that Adria style inside. So, you know, let's see what it's like.
Adria style.
So we're really interested to have a look at the quality of this one before we get to the show, so we can then have a look at the Adria, see what we think to that. And obviously in our minds, we've got the Grand California 680 as well. So yeah, let's have a bit of a tour.
So hopefully my slight short stature is telling you quite how enormous this van is. So I'm just shy of 5'2", and yeah, it's pretty large. I've even been shown there's a special technique for getting into the driver's cab, which if you keep watching long enough, you might see me demonstrate. But to kick off, to start with, this is the first thing that makes you go, ooh. Ooh. Now, who doesn't like a little bit of electric action on their door, hey? So apparently this step flips out as well, and there is a button up here for that, and it is very important that you use this step because it is very, very high. So, and an in, and another in as well, and we're now in the van. So as we said earlier, this is a fairly traditional layout of a 7 metre long van. So you've got your beds at the back, which are the longitudinal layout. You can see here you've got your dinette, got your kitchen here against the side where your opening door is, and your fridge is back there as well, and a bathroom here behind the dinette. So I'm going to get Will to come in and we can start showing you what it feels like to actually be in here. And my overwhelming first impression is it's really quite beautiful, actually. The finishes on these cabinets, the type of lighting that you've got around here, just the quality of the fit and finish is really, really lovely. Okay, so welcome inside this beautiful van. So the first things to let you know about is things like this kitchen block, the leather on the seats. A lot of this, the vast majority of it, is completely customizable. So there's a different range of colours and finishes and things that you can pick from. And the same goes for things like this wood panelling that you'll see over here just to my left. So you can opt to have that or not, as the case may be. So in terms of the actual feel of this leather, it's a lovely thick grain of leather here, and this is a proper upholstered bench. This isn't just a seat cover that's been put over it, and I think it's exactly the same for these seats here as well. The leather certainly fits really nicely on those, and it's this beautiful, really thick grained, hard wearing leather. Feels really stunning to the touch. So for this kitchen block over here, you've got your typical 2-burner hob. Now this is one that's got kind of cast iron supports, which is really nice if you're not quite on a level surface, because there's a bit of friction there on those, so your pots aren't going to be slip sliding all over the place. You've got typical sink and tap combination there, and then this is a kind of flip down lid here, which is for you accessing to switch off things like your gas and bits and bobs like that. And then you've got a range of drawers down here. I'm not going to go opening them all, but this one's important because you've got your cutlery drawer, which it comes with, and this. Now I'm hoping there's somewhere a little better that you can store it, because otherwise that's going to rattle around like an absolute demon. But it fits on the end of the block here. There you go. That's quite nice, just as an extension to your kitchen. And of course, a couple of little hooks there for things like your tea towels and bits and pieces, and a range of switches and things down here, and a little pocket for, well, whatever you fancy. Maybe your kind of hotel slipper kind of flip-flop things. So let's pop that away in there. So you've got a couple of really nice big drawers just sort of further down, and then your typical fridge thing that's over here, which you're opening out like that, and that does have a freezer block in it as well. One thing that I did just forget to mention, which actually when we were poking around this van earlier, I've pointed out specifically, in this bottom drawer you have, wait for it, a bin, and it's a nice little one there like that. It just hooks onto a couple of pivot points that they put in the drawer here and sits there. Absolutely cracking. I like it when people actually think about the practicalities of being in a van. You need to throw your rubbish away.
So over to me, let's have a quick look in here. So this is the bathroom, and first of all, see, lovely mirror. There's Sarah, look.
Hello.
And this door actually opens really nice and wide, so you can actually get past here if you need to, rather than it hitting the side here, which sometimes they don't think about opening the door or making them the right size for that. So in here, what you've got is a combined, obviously, shower, toilet area and everything else. Fold down sink in these now. So if I just fold that down, there you go. These are okay, but as we've said in videos before, if you're trying to wash your face and run a bowl of water, you're not going to do it in there. Because water goes in, runs straight out. It's not great for washing your face, but if you want to splash your face and stuff, wash your hands, it's fine. So that sits there. Obviously nice big mirror inside again, little places here, and you'll see that this is all kind of formed plastic. So this is your wet room. You can see that we've got a duck board down at the bottom there as well. It's a cork one in this rather than wood, which I like. Might last a little bit longer than the wood ones. But the clever thing about this toilet cubicle is when you press this here, this swings round, and then this is what's creating your shower area. So if I just come in here, you've then got a little swing out door here with a magnet on the end, which connects to that. There we go. And then this is the shower cubicle, which obviously you can't kind of see me. Hello. You can't really see me in here. However, yes, I've got shoes on, and there is the duckboard in here. However, I am really struggling. Just close this. I'm really struggling to stand up in here. So it is quite low actually, considering how big this van is physically outside. This is not the tallest of shower cubicles, and it does have fabric on the roof, which we've talked about before. You know, in a wet room, is that really the best idea? I don't know. Certainly things like the vent we've got here is fine and will vent well, but but you can see it's quite low. So let me pop out of here. I'll put this back and then you can see where the toilet is. So just for reference in here, I'm 6'1", so that gives you that kind of idea of how tall this is. If you're I don't know, 5'10", something like that. You'll have no issues whatsoever. Sarah doesn't have any problems in here, put it that way. Right, toilet. So this is slightly different to some of the ones that you see in here. It's obviously a fitted Thetford in here. It is obviously a chemical toilet, just the same. Cartridge goes in outside, cassette goes in outside. Nice little frosted window in here, which again, if you're having a shower and stuff, just being able to open that, especially if you've got the one at the top open as well, give you quite a lot of ventilation in here, which will stop a load of the condensation. Little hooks here everywhere, toilet roll holder, obviously you've got your lighting, and then behind here there's a nice little cupboard. There's a 240-volt socket in there as well. Very nice. And then finally, you've got that, which is a nice little drying rack. So if you've got wet coats, all those kind of things, you need them to drip dry. Really handy to have one of those in here. So you've definitely thought about it. It's really nicely designed. So I do like it when manufacturers put a little bit of thought into using every little bit of space that you can in a van. And I think there's a good couple of examples of that in here. Now, yes, it's a 7-metre long Sprinter, so you're going to have a bit more space. Obviously, most of that's taken up with the bed. So this base bit here is folded up at the moment. You can see it clips up here. We'll show you it with the bed out and the bed properly down in a second. But interestingly, things like this wardrobe here, so this, I'll have to pop some footage in for you, if Sarah can see. So if you took this shelf out of here, you've got a proper decent sized wardrobe in there that you can get quite a few clothes in actually. You might not want to take that shelf out because you might want other storage and things, but it is a big space in there. I think the other thing is these fixtures and fittings, like little leather pulls on these and things, it's just really nice, really nice. And all the cupboards up here where they've got the same, they've got nice felt inners. So, you know, when you put something on there, it's not going to rattle. You know, we spend ages in our van cutting things out like this and putting them in the cupboards to make it not rattle. And this obviously comes from the factory like that, so it's really nice. So little things like this. So this has got a thing which says pull on it. So you pull it like that. And then it's got a little bag in here, look. Now, it's a funny shaped bag, and that's because there's obviously structural beams and other bits and pieces in here. Sarah thinks that could be for laundry, which makes perfect sense to me. Why wouldn't you put your laundry away somewhere like that? Because it just keeps it out of the way, doesn't it? It frees up a bit more cupboard space. It's all very handy. Obviously loads of decent sized storage in here with all your drawers, lovely felt baskets and stuff. Again, don't feel cheap actually. They feel really decent, and they're perfect fitted size. Little rail in there so they don't come flying out. They're really thinking about it. I'm really impressed with what they've done here. Again, any little bit of space that they can find, they're giving you an opportunity. And in here, this is where you'd fit your water filter. So this has got the option of a water filter, and it screws on here. So that's part of your normal water flow. And you'd screw your water filter on in there, and then you can change it as and when you need to. So yeah, very, very nice. Obviously all of the windows, all decent quality double glazed windows with both blackout blind, fly screen and everything all built in. Lovely surrounds here. Speaker system in the back as well. I'm not quite sure. That must be a Bluetooth system that you can use when you're camping rather than just having it when you are driving along. So we'll have to double check that out. More hanging space at the side here for things, and you've also got this curtain. So if you've set the bed up at the back, you just want a bit of privacy from the front, you can pull this curtain across, and obviously it just divides the van into two. So much like the Grand California, there are chairs on the back door. So that's outdoor chairs. You've got an outdoor table, which is stored here as well. Obviously you can leave those at home if you don't want them there, but they are on a kind of molded bracket and everything on the back door. So that's quite neat. It saves you having to buy something and kind of lump it into the van. So they've thought about that. And to make this bed up, really quite straightforward. So you just press this little catch here. Sarah just moves backwards so I can pop this down. You pop that down like that. That's obviously really decent strength and everything. It's all hinged, perfectly straightforward. And then with these are your bed pieces, which just do exactly that. And then you've got an enormous bed, which I should have looked up exactly what size it is, but I'll put it on the screen now for you so you can see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on here and see whether it's long enough for me.
So Will's done his usual and jumped straight into the bed, making himself comfortable, and I'm left standing here thinking, how on earth do I do that? There is no step. But wait, Hymer have thought about this. So if we come down here and we open this and pull that across, it's got a really satisfying clunk when it goes in place. And then we move this thing here and pull on this little tab, and ta-da! And we have some beautiful little steps there that are going to enable me to hop up into that bed without any problems whatsoever.
And there was me thinking I was going to get this bed to myself.
No, you're not so lucky.
Which wouldn't have been a problem, because you know what? This is actually a 3-berth.
It is.
Let me show you how. Now, third bed. Well, when we were looking around this van, we thought, what on earth is this weird table looking thing? And we went and found Stuart and said, come on, Stuart, what's going on? What is this? And he said, well, that's for the third bed at the front. So what happens is this comes out. So that's your normal table, the robust table. They're always over-engineered for some reason. So you take that table out, and then if Sarah's able to show you, there is another rail underneath there. Can you see that?
Yep.
Oh, I can take this out quite easily. Look, let me just put that down here. And then what happens is, I don't know whether I can do it or not without too much messing about, but effectively that goes there, and these legs fold down like that. So it basically becomes, so that sits level, and then there's another bed piece, I think, which goes on top of this, which then gives you, and you put that seat right away that way, and then it effectively gives you your third bed at the front. It's a temporary bed. It's you know, if you've got a teenager or a young one with you and you need that extra space, obviously this doesn't have a pop top, so you've got obviously the massive bed at the back. You can have this temporary small bed at the front too, which, oh, that's quite nifty, that. Obviously you've got to store this somewhere safely though when you're driving along, so that would definitely need thinking about. Right, let's have a bit of a chat about what this van's actually got then, spec-wise. So this is the 190 horsepower engine, which is the biggest you can get. It's 4-wheel drive.
When you said this is the 109, I thought you were going to say the price. No, it's not quite that much.
No, not quite that much. So yeah, 190 horsepower van. It's the 9-speed automatic gearbox in this one.
Very nice.
4-wheel drive. This has also got the automation pack? Autonomy pack, I think it's called.
Autonomy pack.
Which is 3 lithium batteries.
Little ones.
Little ones, but 3 lithium batteries. I think it's 320 amp hour in total. It's also got 2 solar panels. It's got a 2.8 kilowatt inverter.
Water filter.
Yeah, water filter.
Water.
The Mercedes base van is loaded with stuff. So it's got LED lights, it's got adaptive cruise control, climate control,
shelf
all of the
for your phone as well, which is right in the top of the dashboard. We'll try and get a little bit of footage, hopefully, that Will can overlay onto that.
Heated windscreen. I think it's got heated steering wheel, obviously heated seats, all the lumbar support stuff and everything else.
Integrated blinds around the front, which are Hymer ones.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yeah.
And having sat in the driver's seat, it doesn't look like they impinge on your ability to see in your door mirrors.
Oh yeah,
which
that's a
is
big
really
thing for
important.
you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Been a little bit shorter. The passenger mirror in particular is really tricky. Obviously, there's lovely dark headlining and everything in here. Loads of lighting throughout everywhere. It really is an exceptional van, I have to say. It's absolutely beautifully done. Quality just feels superb, rock solid quality. Obviously, you saw it's got electric side door and things. Everything about it just screams quality.
Nice. Yeah, and lovely place to be, actually.
Oh, and it's got the underbody protection as well. So if you really fancy going off-road in your, guess how much?
140?
Yeah, it's very close. 137 K for this one.
Okay.
It's £137,000 for a panel van conversion.
They're very
Admittedly,
nice.
it's a very posh camel van.
It's a nice, very
van
nice
conversion.
panel van first up, and
Yes.
it is a very nice conversion on
is.
top. So
It really is. Yeah, I mean, this is both the Mercedes Sprinter and also the MAN TGE Volkswagen Crafter base vans, really renowned for being top quality base vans to build on. And actually, when you sit in the driver's seat of one of these, it does feel quite Mercedes-like.
I think this feels, compared to ours, we've driven our van here today, which is the MAN TGE, so Volkswagen Crafter. This feels more car-like. Sitting in it feels a little bit more cosseting. That's possibly because it's got this black headlining that's above the cab area, but it feels like you sit a bit lower in the cab, albeit the van is exceptionally high. But you feel lower actually in the van, so it feels a little more car-like than big van and kind of sitting on top of it.
Steering wheel feels a bit more flash, and I really like it.
Yeah,
I do really like it. We're never going to have one of these. You realise that?
No, well, it's too long. We can't fit it on our driveway for a start.
Yes,
but they do a 6-metre version.
Ah, that's a good point actually. Yes, they do a 600 version of this rather than a 700, and that's got a transverse bed at the back. But obviously, you can have all the options and stuff that you can with this.
Yeah.
So
I think in terms of downsides, there's not many to find apart from the price tag.
No.
My only comment, or actually, I've probably got two. They probably could have done putting in the slightly nicer roof lights in my mind, because they've used the push-up bar ones rather than the windy things. So would have preferred the nice ones with the windy. But you do get 3 roof lights in the main living area. So one over here, one over the kitchen, one over the bedroom as well.
Yeah.
And they've gone for the Truma blown air heating system.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with that type of system, but you would have thought, or I would have thought, for a van of this size and this general spec and overall cost, they'd have gone with a wet heating system. So you'd
Aldi
benefit from radiators and underfloor heating, things like that, that just make it feel a little more homely than being blasted with hot air.
It would have been a bit quieter and things, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that.
And when you have one of those systems, you generally get your underbench back in terms of storage. Not that this van suffers from a shortage of storage in any way, shape or form.
But that is where it is in here.
That is where it is. So it would have been nice if they could have pushed the boat out just that little bit further and gone with a wet heating system.
I think the only other downside which I can think of, and this is kind of a modern emerging thing, is the fact that it's still got a gas hob. Because that means you've got to have space for your bottle. It means that you've got to think about where you're going to refill it. Obviously, in this van, you've got a big inverter in it. You've got lithium batteries. It kind of feels like it's capable of having an induction hob.
Yeah, so why didn't
and there isn't an induction hob. So I don't think there's one of those on the spec sheet. If there is, I'll tell you on the screen here that I'm wrong, and actually you can just order it with that.
I quite often like telling Will he's wrong.
But I don't think you can have an induction hob in here as an option, which is a bit of a shame actually, because that kind of is another one of those little things which you just think that's another little thing which is nice and easy if you haven't got gas.
But as I said earlier, the hob is one of the nicer ones that they've chosen.
It really is.
So you've got your cast iron supports in there that stop your pots wobbling around all over the place if you're not quite exactly flat. So it is a nicer one.
Loads of capacity, by the way, in terms of water on this. So you've got 110 litres of fresh water, 85 of wastewater.
That's plenty,
in our experience, if there's 2 of you, that would last you 2 or 3 days, probably 3 days.
Yeah, depends how long you're showering for, if you're washing hair and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Bit
how
of
much
cooking,
of
all that
a gourmet meal you're putting together with lots of pots and pans for washing
or how much you have to flush the toilet. So, it just 2 or 3 days, usually fine. Right, I think that's enough chat. Really interested to see what the Adria's like at the show, as we've said.
Yeah.
Could be really a good competitor to this. But if you are in the market for a van, either 6 metre or 7 metre of this kind of type, so 4-wheel drive, you can order this without 4-wheel drive, by the way, and it is a lot cheaper.
And lower.
But if you're after a quality van like this Hymer is definitely worth checking out the Grand Canyon S.
But I think before we properly sign off, I did promise these people if they carried on watching for long enough, you might get a demonstration of me trying to get into the cab using the correct technique, I am informed.
So we'll finish off with that in the video, and we just want to say a big thank you to Lowdhams for letting us come down here on a Sunday, interrupt the normal general public viewing of these vans so we can make these videos for you. Hopefully you found it useful. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon on
Campervan Time.
3, 2, 1, go.